Welcome aboard. I am Lynn Bacani. This is Maritime Viewpoints. We'll bring you another insightful conversation here on Marino World Online. Our guest is Attorney Peter Aguilar, Executive Director and Legal Counsel of the Philippine Inter-Island Shipping Association, or PISA. Good evening, Attorney Pete.
Good evening, Lynn. Kumusta? Long time no here.
Oo
And good evening to sa mga subscribers mo at sa mga followers ng Marino World. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. Alam ko, sobrang busy ka, lalo na ngayon at napakaraming mga kaganapan sa industriya maritima kahit sa gitna ng ganitong pandemya, di ba, Attorney Pete?
Yeah.
So, we'll go direct to the point. What is PISA as an organization? We'll talk about domestic shipping operations ngayon at tamang-tama po ang guest natin, si Attorney Pete Aguilar. Sir, so what is PISA as an organization and who are your members? Who composes your membership? How many to date?
Yeah, okay. PISA stands for Philippine Inter-Island Shipping Association. It was incorporated sometime in 1983. It is the umbrella organization of the various sectors in the domestic shipping industry, with members from owners, operators of liners, tankers, ro-ros, container ships, light trades, harbor tags, as well as marine-related companies such as P&I clubs, marine insurance providers, classification societies, both international and local, ship security companies, ship agents, and the like. PISA is the recognized voice of the domestic shipping industry by numerous private and government entities like the Maritime Industry Authority, the Philippine Ports Authority, the Department of Transportation and Communication, DOTI, Department of Transportation, Department of Trade and Industry, Board of Investment, NEDA, BOC, PCG, EPA, ECO, and the various Joint Foreign Chamber of Commerce. Presently, we have PISA has 21 regular members representing the major players in the liner sector, ro-ros, light trades, and harbor tags. We also have 18 associate members.
So napakalaki talaga ng organization ninyo, no? Kaya
Well,
madalas nakita talagang nakikita sa mga conference, sa mga roundtable discussions in Maritime, ano, andyan lagi si Attorney Pete Aguilar. Dahil nga sa napaka-extensive ng experience mo at you are representing a very big organization in the industry. So from your perspective or that of PISA, how is the Philippines faring in domestic shipping compared to other Asian countries?
Well, I could say that the Philippines has a very vibrant shipping industry comparable to their counterparts in Asia. In terms of seafarers alone, domestic shipping plays an important role in training our graduates of maritime courses to obtain the necessary onboard training required for their accreditation as deck and engine officers, ensuring adequate supplies of qualified and competent seafarers, both domestic and international. In terms of ship ownership, many ship owners now, prior to the pandemic, are investing in newer or younger vessels despite the perceived lack of support from the government for the past decades. I will deal on that more specific later in the discussion, Lynn.
So, what are the factors affecting domestic shipping operations? You really have an extensive experience na meron ka ring background sa pagmamanage ng shipping company, ng local shipping company. So, from your experience, tapos yung mga nakikita mo ngayon, at lalo na ngayong pandemya, no? Na-aggravate ba yung situation? Kasi sa totoo lang, pag mga pinakikinggan ko yung mga presentations mo noon pa, no? So talagang masasabi na we have a perennial problem here in domestic shipping. Yun pa rin ang naririnig ko.
Yes.
So to explain further.
Well, I I can summarize that into two categories. One is the high cost of doing business in the Philippines, and the other one is the inability to attain economies of scale in the domestic trade. Kaya oftentimes you can hear from stakeholders or from shippers in Mindanao that it's more expensive to ship one container from Mindanao to Manila rather than shipping one container from Mindanao via Kaohsiung to Manila. Let us remember na shipping a container from Manila via Kaohsiung, you will involve the services of foreign companies or a foreign ship. Pag kinumpare mo ang foreign ship from a domestic ship, you're comparing apples to oranges. Magkaiba ang cost of operation. Foreign domestic, high cost of doing business. Nilista ko na yan. I have several presentation made to the Marina during the formulation of the Maritime Industry Development Program. I think most of them agree with me. One is yung high cost of vessel acquisition. Bakit? Kasi magpatigawa ka ng barko rito, subject yan sa lahat ng taxes and duties. Pero pa nung high cost of power, which is an essential input in building a vessel. Also, kahit na yung mga lumang vessel, it has to undergo periodically dry docking, and power or electricity in the Philippines is one of the highest in Southeast Asia. So it contributes to the cost of maintaining the vessel. I came across with a study of the World Bank, and it compared the cost of dry docking in the Philippines compared to the rest of Asia. Our dry docking cost is 40% more expensive than our counterparts in other Asian countries. Okay, so next is on the category of high cost of doing business, yung high cost of fuel. Fuel accounts for 40 to 50% of the operating cost of a vessel.
Now, lalo ngayon, nasa
yes.
bare months tayo ngayon, so napakataas lalo niyan.
Yes, you know, fuel kasi is subject to the fluctuation in the fluctuation of prices in the world market. Pag umubo sa international market ang presyo ng fuel, apektado tayo, nagkakaroon tayo ng we catch cold, di ba? Ika nga ngayon, the only problem there is that while admittedly yung cost of fuel is very erratic, and then may contribution pa ang government natin for the higher cost. Lately, you have heard yung mga candidates natin nagsasabi na alisin yung excise tax. Remember, excise tax accounts for excise tax imposed under the train law accounts for 6 pesos per liter. Now, that is not the only imposition. Yung excise tax of 6 pesos, subject pa yan sa VAT of 12%. So, essentially, ang increase mo sa fuel per liter is around 690 to 695, something like that. So just imagine, just visualize, if your vessel is prior to trade, if your vessel is consuming 1 million liters of fuel, okay, prior to trade, wala kang additional expense of magkano? 1 million is 6,900,000 something thousand. That's an additional cost to the vessel. So fuel. Now, i-compare mo sa foreign vessels. Foreign vessels, whenever they come here and do their refueling in the Philippines, we call it bunkering operation in the Philippines, they're not subject to duties and taxes. So ang hirap talaga i-compare ang domestic ship from a foreign ship. Then magkaiba yung regime ng taxation sa kanila. Okay. Next is yung government constantly increasing their fees and charges. Lately, we have complained against the imposition of the PPA on the garbage collection fees and charges na several hundreds percent increase compared to the previous service provider, yung Golden Dragon. And then, mayroon pa rin yung mga issue on government regulation or government programs that are needed by some or by all of the stakeholders in the shipping industry. Like for instance, lately, naririnig niyo siguro yung cloud-based unified ticketing system ng PPA and the tree planting program of PPA. All of them
Siyempre,
will
pag sa, di ba, parang ang ganda-gandang pakinggan. But
ang ganda-gandang
for the ship
pakinggan.
owners, paano?
Yes. Sa unified ticketing systems. The reason why we're objecting to that because most of our affected members have their own ticketing system already. So if you subject us with if PPA will be subjecting those shipping companies that have their own unified ticketing system, kaya ano mangyari na sa ginastos nila sa pag-put up ng system nila. Okay? And I'm sure that whoever service provider that will be retained by the PPA to put up the unified ticketing system and maintain it, manage it, and maintain it, will surely charge something. Hindi naman yan for free. That is why, ang alam ko, binid out na ng PPA. Now, pag binid out yan, sigurado, babawin yan. Now, ang problem dyan okay, posibleng pag pinilit kami, we will abide, but we'll pass it on to the consuming public, to the riding public. Anyway, yung mga ganon, nakita namin, first, the other one, yung tree planting. You know that there is an administrative order or administrative circular by PPA where prior to the issuance of a permit to operate by PPA, you'll be required to plant mangroves, certain number for each type. Sabi namin sa bawat kwan na lang seedling, that will cost something to us. Yung mga iba, mayroon pang pre-prescribed na thousands of seedlings. So sabihin mo na lang sa 10 piso bawat seedling, and then you will hire the services of the planters, that's an additional cost again. Okay. Kaya sabi ko, it's quite ironic that government, paminsan-minsan, government is one among those complaining of high domestic shipping costs, and yet government is also part of the problem. Good that in the case of Marina, lately, mayroong pinasang circular ng Marina giving certain discounts on the annual tonnage fee being imposed to shipping companies. With respect to PPA, the only time that I can recall na yung nagbigay sila ng konting benefits sa mga shipowners, yung passage ng Bayanihan 2, where certain discounts on usage fee, I think, was refunded to the shipowners. But apart from that, wala na. Okay. And what compounds the problem, again pala, going back to my observation that government issuing policies that is not beneficial to all shipping stakeholders. There is a department order by the ATTY issued during this pandemic where it compels ship owners to allocate 20% of their cargo space to agricultural products. Okay, and then to compound it further, Ship owners are also required to grant 40% discount on the freight for agricultural products. So, pag tinignan mo yan, down na nga ang volume during the pandemic, especially during the first year of the pandemic, down ang volume of cargos by 70%. Okay, sa passengers naman, we're only limited to 50% capacity of the vessel. So talagang, if you take a look at the financials of our members, talagang down lang. Okay, going back to yung question mo on the perennial problems, I mentioned a while ago yung inability to attain economies of scale. Ganito kasimple yan. The bigger the vessel, the lower is the freight. The smaller the vessel, the bigger is the freight. Why? Because parang style Chinese, you get it by the volume. Okay. You get it by the volume. Mas marami ng volume, pwede mong bawasan ng rate mo. Pag konti ang volume mo, siyempre mataas ang fund mo. Because your operating cost, most likely, the operating cost of a bigger vessel in a medium-sized vessel or smaller vessel is almost the same. Okay. So makukuha mo sa volume, you can decrease the cost. But you can decrease or lower the freight. Why can't we attain economies of scale? Several reasons. One, yung poor port infrastructures. Maraming mga ports outports. Say, Davao. Walang makikrange yan. Ang pilahan dyan namin, kuminsan, 4 to 6 days, nag-aantay ang vessel namin to dock. And then, pa naka-dock, walang kick-range dyan. So, if your vessel is carrying containers, geared vessel, yung may sariling cranes, ang rate of discharge ng crane on board the vessel is a lot slower than key cranes that is based on the port. Kaya we're lucky enough na ang Manila North Harbor, because of the privatization, nag-invest ang Manila North Port on key cranes. Medyo mabilis ang turnover dito. But pagdating namin sa outports, matagal. Dahil walang mga Iloilo. Ang mga pier na allotted for mag-aantay kayo pag naunahan kami ng pag naunahan kami ng foreign vessels. Walang key cranes din doon. Mag-aantay kami bago matapos ang discharging operation ng foreign vessel. So, mabagal. The more that the vessel stays in a port, the higher is the operating cost. And then, another reason why we cannot attain economies of scale, yung trade practices din natin, especially in the outports. We still have the tendency of yung bang sari-sari store mentality. Okay, wala tayong just imagine corn are being shipped from Mindanao to Manila via containers. When in fact in other countries, isang bulk carrier. Walang laman yan kundi corn lang. I'll give you an example also. Whenever we import rice, isang buong barko ng Chinese o ng Vietnam, puno ng rice. Sa atin ang rice coming from Mindanao, may container din. Ang rate ng container, mas mahal kaysa punuin mo isang vessel. So those are several reasons why we cannot attain economies of scale. Alam mo yung namin, Lynn, yung chairman emeritus namin, si Miss Doris Ho. I always coin her I always adapt her the phrase that she coined, yung shipping palace trade. So kung mayroong trade diyan sa isang lugar, pupunta ang ships diyan. Shipping will go there because there is trade there. Now, it follows na if the train in that locality is small vessels din ang pupunta dyan. Let us admit na tayo, ano ba to? The Philippines is still, we're not a hub, we're not a feeder economy tayo. Kaya even sa mga exports natin, sa mga imports natin, we are not able to get economies of scale dahil maliit lang ang volume ng business natin. Anyway, so that's
there are ano, diba? Port developments na rin naman, mga infrastructure.
Oh, well, yes. To the credit of PPA, yes. The only problem there is, let me borrow yung complaint ng mga foreign chambers of commerce. The problem with the government, whenever they bid out certain government project, they want to get the highest return. So sa halip na i-lower ang cost of that particular service, mas larang tumataas because pag-bid out nila sa highest bidder. The highest bidder will surely recoup their investment via imposing higher fees. That is why dun sa there was an instance when the Chamber of Commerce requested our input on the draft bill they're going to propose to the Senate, amending yung charter ng PPA, where it says na, okay, they want to separate the regulatory function of PPA and the development function. Because presently, under the charter of the PPA, the development, putting up of the infrastructure, as well as the management and regulatory function is vested in one body, which is PPA. That is why PPA is has a fiscal autonomy. They operate from their own income. Anong effect niya? The effect is that they want to recover whatever they would invest in a particular port, in developing a port. Okay. Masama ba yun? Sa tingin ko masama. Because whenever doon sa mga ports na i-operate nila, mayroon isang service provider dyan, they get 10% of their own, 10% of the rates that they approve. Okay, so parang ang sabi namin niya, parang may conflict of interest. Kasi sila nag-a-approve ng rates, and yet they get certain percentage of the rates that they approve. Okay, that is why in that bill being proposed by the Chamber of Commerce, inaalis nila, they want to separate the regulatory function of PPA from the development function. But the only problem there is that right now kasi ang PPA parang a separate company. Okay, they operate, they have fiscal autonomy, they operate and generate their own income. Now in that proposed bill, iniwala yung regulatory. Magiging kuwan na lang daw regulatory ang PPA. But the development, the putting up of this infrastructure will be assigned to another government corporation, which I think is wrong. Kasi kung i-devote mo, ilalagay mo sa isang government corporation, that government corporation will try to recoup their investment on the port. Our suggestion is development of port should be the mandate, should be the obligation of government through the Department of Public Works and Industry, Public Works and Highways. They should be the one putting up the infrastructure. You know why? Bakit sa road transport? It's the government that put up the roads, the bridges. Diba? Since we are an archipelago, talagang ang magkukonect sa atin, shipping.
Yes, Attorney Pierce, kasi di ba sa ports, parang madalas nagkakaroon ng congestion, So kailangan mailabas agad yung mga containers.
Exactly.
traffic diretso na. Pero yung kung ang road natin hindi akma, so problema nga.
Exactly, that's the problem. Kasi nga, hindi well develop ang road infrastructure natin leading to the ports. For instance, I'll give you an example. In 2017, was it 2017 to 2018, there was a congestion sa MICT, sa international port natin, MICT and South Harbor. And nag-i-spill over sa North Harbor, which is dedicated for domestic ships. Why? Because both international cargos and domestic cargos use the same road infrastructure. Unlike in other cities, in other countries, I went to Shanghai, hiniwalay nila ang port, hiwalay yun. Kaya yung mga kung ano yun, walang traffic congestion doon. Anyway, going back dun sa proposal ng Chamber of Commerce, for me, since we're an archipelago, we provide, shipping provides the most efficient mode of transport for cargo and passengers. It's more expensive to ship or to transport your cargo via road from Manila, kahit na lang sa Sama. It's more expensive. You know why? Just imagine, ilang container lang ang pwedeng ikarga sa isang truck? Only one. How many containers can one ship? Unlimited. Unlimited. Meron dyan, right now, sa abroad, mayroong mga container ship that can accommodate 24,000 TEUs. Just imagine. Dito, sa atin, dahil nga mababaw ang mga port natin, hindi masyadong develop, we're compelled to just maintain smaller vessels. Ang pinakamalaki nating container ship, siguro 1,000 tonner lang, 1,000 TEUs lang. Okay. Sa mga tankers, we only have Europe, pinakamalaki na 5,000 metric tons. As against international, 20,000 TEUs, 24,000 TEUs, 2 million, a million tons of crude oil. Mga ganun ba? Now, that can be done because the port infrastructure can accommodate bigger vessels. That cannot be done in the Philippines. Besides, yung trade natin maliit. I came from a shipping company where that operates tankers. Tinitingnan ko bakit ako mga oil companies hindi masyado nagpapadala ng malalaking volume sa Visayas and Mindanao. They don't, because one is they don't want to maintain a higher inventory in those places because of the instability of the instability in the world of the prices in the world market, etc. And then the volume of the demand for that product in that locality is small. So pag ganyan, maliit na vessels lang ang gagamitin mo. Pag maliit na vessels ang ginamit mo, mas malaki ang freight cost mo. So that's the explanation for the reason why inability to attain economy of scale contributes to the higher cost of domestic shipping. And yan ang challenge. That has been true when I was in active ship management in 1991 to 2001. That is still true now. Until now, yung pa rin.
And wala bang mga subsidies man lang ang government natin? Like sa ibang countries, no? Parang meron yata silang subsidy.
Yeah, you're correct there, Lynn. You're correct there. Again, dun sa World Bank study na sinasabi ko that I mentioned a while ago, kinumpare nila ang shipping cost in the Philippines compared to Malaysia, to Indonesia. Kasi Indonesia is almost similar to us. Archipelago din. We have 7,400 islands. Indonesia has 17,000 plus islands. And both countries have very dynamic and vibrant domestic shipping industry. Now, bakit sabi nila mas mura daw sa Indonesia? Mura because the fuel cost, the fuel consumption of domestic ships in Indonesia is being subsidized by the government. Wala niyan sa atin. Wala niyan sa atin.
So parang pag inobserbahan mo, parang instead na support, kailangan mag-profit ang government sa
Yes.
ship
Well, unfortunately,
operations.
sadly,
Observation lang po.
ganyan ang observation ng ibang observer ng industry. Tsaka doon lang sa shipbuilding. You know, we have been touted as the number 4 shipbuilding companies in the world. And yet, if you take a look at it, karamihan naman doon sa mga ginagawang vessels sa atin, hindi naman for domestic market. It's for foreign markets. Because whenever a domestic ship owner goes to Hanjin before, when Hanjin was still existing, if we go to Keppel, if we go to Tunisia and have our ship build there, new ship, subject to duties and taxes. Whereas pag isang ship owner from Malaysia magpagawa sa Tunisia, walang duties and taxes yan. It's funny. Meron isang issue, isang instance where a local ship owner would like to buy a ship that was left in Hanjin when Hanjin closed shop. Buo na yung barko, naiwanan doon. Gustong bilhin ng local. Nag-back out yung local ship owner. Why? Sinasubject sa duties and taxes. Because daw, built in Hanjin. Just imagine, you can only be exempted from paying the duties and taxes if you avail of the incentives under the BOI, under the ITT. Pag hindi ka nag-avail nun, hindi na-approve yung application mo, you cannot enjoy duty and tax-free acquisition of a ship built by Tunisia, by etc. etc.
So, Attorney Pete, how would you explain na kung makuha lang ang support talaga ng domestic shipping, mas malaki yung mako-contribute ng domestic shipping operations sa economy ng Philippines kaysa doon sa yung magkaroon ng profit or ng mabawi yung gastos ng government from those di ba, like infra. Kasi kung i-check natin yung history ng ibang countries sa Asian, nakakainggit, no? China, Singapore, like Singapore yata yung nasa background mo, no?
Singapore yan. Singapore yan, no? Yes, totoo yan. You know, on your observation, I have noted that there was a time during the administration Pinoy, we had an occasion to sit down with the economic managers, and I think it was Secretary Purisima who pointed out that shipping down in the Philippines only contributes a very minuscule percentage of the economy. Okay, but okay, assuming that is true, but the role that shipping plays in the economy is very crucial. Kasi as an archipelago, paano mo i-connect ang different islands? It's more expensive if you connect them by bridges. Magkano yung isang bridge ang ginagawa ngayon sa Cebu province? Billion ata if not several millions of pesos. Okay. So, replicate it in other islands kung gaano ka-expensive niya. Even if you connect all the islands in the Philippines by bridge, if you transport goods from one place to another, expensive pa rin ang pag-transport by road. Because of economies of scale. Because trucks or land transport can only accommodate a smaller volume. Whereas a ship, unlimited Unlimited. Pwedeng sabihin natin 1,000, sabi ko nga sa'yo, pinakamalakan natin 1,000 TEUs. So ilang 1,020 container units yan, 20 containers. So as against one container that can be transported by a truck, by a land, alin mas mahal? I have attended a hearing of the House of Representatives during the last Congress, where Congresswoman Gloria Arroyo revived the nautical highway, and there was a study presented by Marina na it's really more expensive to ship one container via road rather than via ship. So again, I don't know. Ang mindset kasi ng mga policymakers natin, sad to say, mayroon silang mindset na ganito. Pabayaan mo na yung mga ship owners, mayayaman yan. Kaya ang nila, yung concentration nila, it's more on air, it's more on land transport. Alam mo, takot na takot sila pag mga jeepney operators nagkaroon ng transport holiday. Di nila maisip kung shipping industry ang magkaroon ng transport holiday just for 1 week. I don't know what will happen to the food supply from Mindanao, Visayas to Manila.
Lalo ngayong pandemic,
Exactly.
Nare-realize natin yan.
Exactly.
Tuloy-tuloy ang inyong operations.
Just imagine, we have already presented yung mga challenges, the reason why domestic shipping is high, is more expensive. And yet, lalabas pa yung DOTR department order na imamandate ka na mag-allocate ka ng 20% space sa agricultural products and give 40% discount. Yun na nga lang during the pandemic, dahil nga 50% lang ang pwede namin i-carry ng mga passengers, bumabawi kami sa cargo, na down din ang volume ng cargo by 70% during the first year. And yet, sasabihin pa, magbigay kayo ng 40% discount sa agricultural products. Wala kayong patutunguhan lin. Kahit saan pumunta. Akala talaga nila shipping is making money. No. Ako, I've been in the industry and so with the logistics companies, I have so many logistic company clients. Shipping is not a profit center. Shipping nag-generate ng ang profit center is yung logistics. That is why if you take a note, if you'll notice, local shipping companies have their own affiliate logistics company. Tingnan mo. Royal Cargo has its own shipping arm, pero mayroon silang logistics. In so with Magsaysay. Kasi very hindi talaga kikita basta-basta, unlike before na kumikita ang mga shipping companies namin, mahirap, especially during this pandemic.
Attorney Piet, we'll just take a short break. When we come back, please share your thoughts or that of PISA on pending laws in Congress. Which of these do you support?
Yeah, okay. That's my specialty. Okay. Okay.
Maritime Viewpoints, we'll be right back.
What if I tell you that KSIM Connect has become a reality? It is the cloud-based ecosystem for maritime education and training, where Kongsberg provides simulation and services to all members. As an instructor, my main goal is to educate and train seafarers to acquire skills promoting safety, sustainability, and efficiency at sea. At KSIM Connect, I can efficiently manage my simulators, my exercises, and my students. In the exercise archive, I can store my library of exercises, and if I want, collaborate and share them with my colleagues or others in the global community. KSIM Connect enables me to give students access to cloud simulation, so they can train anytime and anywhere while learning at their own pace. In addition, I can explore the library of models and exercise areas, download or subscribe those that fit the learning objectives. And I can even order spare parts or a service visit if needed. Kongsberg has started to create the future of maritime education and training by creating the community where instructors can find news, explore and download available simulator models, distribute or share exercises that fit the curriculum. Imagine using Case and Connect to integrate our simulators in the same virtual exercise environment, enabling students to train and interact together. It doesn't matter whether you're in Singapore, Australia, or in the United States. As long as you're online, you are part of the knowledge-sharing community. Kongsberg is shaping the future of maritime education and training by creating the community. Let's continue building this community together for the benefit of ourselves and the entire maritime training industry. Join Case and Connect today.
Mariana Academy of Maritime Studies. Full STCW assessment for seafarers. One-stop shop. Unique with mapped up bridge. Mariana Academy of Maritime Studies stands firm on its commitment on training and assessment despite challenges of the pandemic. Thank you for staying with us. You are watching Maritime Viewpoints here on Marino Online. Our guest, Attorney Peter Aguilar, Executive Director and Legal Counsel of the Philippine Inter-Island Shipping Association or PISA. Attorney, may mga pending bills. Actually, yung iba napakatagal na, no? Yung pa rin ang dinidiscuss. So, which of these bills do you support and oppose?
Okay. So, you know, during the last Congress when ANCLA party list was still there, we have a close collaboration with Congressman Manalo, and we have given him a wish list of the legislative or the bills that the industry wants to be passed. And among those are, one is Yun nga sinasabi ko, yung amendment to the Charter of the Philippine Ports Authority, seeking to separate the regulatory and rate fixing functions of PPA from its development function. And then we have also asked for amendment, repeal, or at least amending PD 1221. Presidential Decree 1221 is the law passed or decree, presidential decree that was issued by then President Ferdinand Marcos, requiring all Philippine flag vessels to undergo dry dock only in marina registered shipyards. Okay, and then we also wanted to amend EO 1088. EO 1088 also is an issuance of President Marcos prior to his being deposed from his position, where it mandates for compulsory pilotage to all vessels in both public and private ports. So yun ang mga wish list namin, Kikwan. Unfortunately, when Mang Clau was not re-elected during the 18th Congress, wala na kaming wala na kaming voice, wala na kaming direct contact with somebody from although Congressman Edgar Mary Sarmiento refiled yung pilotage bill. Okay, but all of these bills that we want to be passed until now, inabutan na ng election time. Okay, right now mayroong mga bills diyan na talagang nakapending. The most important one is the bill already passed on second reading by the House of Representatives. It's the bill amending the Public Service Act. Okay, it was already passed by on third reading by the House. The counterpart version in the Senate is still being deliberated on plenary. Now, basically, the Public Service Act bill seeks to amend the decades-old Public Service Act by just defining what a public utility is. Okay, and under that bill, only 3 industries are qualified or are categorized as public utilities. One is distribution of electricity. Number 2 is the transmission of electricity, and sewerage is water in sewerage pipeline system. Yun lang tatlo. Now the net effect would be all other industries, all other industries not falling under the definition are no longer classified as public utilities. So what's the implication? The implication is that the 60% Filipino and 40% foreign ownership prescribed under the Constitution, under Section 11, Article 12 of the Constitution, will be lifted, enabling foreigners to own 100% of those businesses which no longer classified as public utilities, including shipping. Now, we're very much concerned because shipping, just imagine yung issues of West Philippine Sea, just imagine Chinese dominating the domestic shipping industry. Maraming nakikita dyan mga na sa ngayon pa nga lang ang laki na ng issue ng mga issue against the movement of the intervention of the Chinese government sa West Philippine Sea. How much more kung mga ships nila, mga commercial ships nila will be allowed to operate in the Philippines, flying their own flag. So, yan ang issue namin. Yan ang issue namin dun sa proposed bill niya. Fortunately, I hope that the bill will will not be finished, the deliberation of the bill will not be finished in the Senate, considering yung present activity na concentrated na sila concentrated na mga senators natin sa election, 22 election. Okay, okay. Mayroon pa pala isang bill sa there are two other bills. One is the Marpol bill, which is pending before the House Committee on Ecology. That bill seeks to implement the Marpol Convention 1973 and 78. Okay. We support that. PISA supports that. Okay. And then the optional pilotage bill of Congressman Sarmiento, we support that. The ship registry bill also of Congressman Sarmiento, seeking to expand the the Philippine flag registry. We support that. Okay. And the Magna Carta of Seafarers passed also in the House, but is being deliberated upon in the Senate Committee of Senator Villanueva, except the provision on ship owners, making it mandatory for ship owners to provide compensation to cadets undergoing onboard training on domestic ships. Yun lang ino-oppose namin doon. But the bill itself, okay sa amin yun. The Magna Carta of Seafarers Bill seeks to implement yung Maritime Labour Convention. We support that.
Attorney, a lot of roundtable discussions are happening. Are these constant dialogues with the government not enough to finally solve the problems here, especially in the domestic shipping? What strategies are instantly doable? And what strategies require repealing, amending, or passing of laws? Mukhang yung huli napakatagal yata itong proseso, no? Pagdating sa laws, kasi I've been covering yung minsan sa mga sa mga hearings sa Congress, minsan naiinit din ako doon pa lang eh.
Actually.
Ulit. Tapos dami nilang sinasabi.
Totoo yun. You know, my frustration in this, in my job as executive director, my job really is to articulate the concerns of the industry. Whenever there is a bill pending before both houses ng Congress natin, Senate and the House, affecting the industry, I go there and articulate the concerns of the industry. For instance, yung pilotage bill, na we want to lift yung mandatory or compulsory pilotage, also yung amendment na yan sa Public Service Act. You know, my job really is to expound on the merit of our position. But sad to say, there are so many instances where, despite the logic of our arguments, minsan may mindset na yung mga congressman yung bang sila they just conduct the public hearing to comply with the requirements of public consultation, but they have their own judgment already na whether regardless of the opposition of stakeholders, they will proceed with it. Ganun na nangyari sa Public Service Act. Sa Public Service Act, during the deliberation sa House of Representatives, Secretary Salima of the DICT was there to defend yung interest ng telecommunication industry, na telecommunication industry daw should be included in definition of public utility, such that it should be controlled by 60% Filipinos. The same is true with shipping. So I articulated the position of our members. Wala. Kahit anong argumento mo doon. I remember na pinagalitan pa ako nung chairman. Nung sabi niya, pababayan ko pa naman. Sabi niya, you know, we have conducted a very, very thorough study on this. And blah, 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 blah. Wala na. They have made up their minds. Wala na talaga. Yung whatever merits of your argument, set aside na yan because they have made up their minds na talagang kailangan na. Normally, minsan nga, nangyari pa. Tinanong namin, during the deliberation sa House, Marino was there. And Marino was defending the position of the industry. Alam mo, sagot ng chairman, utos sa taas. Utos sa Malacanang. Ay, wala na. The same is true with PPA, the Philippine Coast Guard, the OTR, etc. They just conduct the public consultation just to go through the motion of complying with the requirements of the law, that there should be a public consultation before the issuance of any regulation affecting a particular industry. Okay. So, kahit ano pang merit ng argumento mo, hindi talaga susundin lang yung gusto nila. However, to the merit of Marina is a lot different now. I've noticed na whenever there is a regulation being proposed, talagang the instruction of the Administrator Babin Pedram is to conduct public hearing, public consultation, and as much as possible to consider yung inputs ng mga stakeholders. In fact, banggit ko na sa iyo kanina, there is a existing circular now approved by the board granting certain discount on the annual tonnage fee. Kasi umiiyak na yung mga members. Umiiyak na. Low, high, the cost of operation of a ship is still there. Maintain siya, constant siya. And yet yung volume, cargo and passengers, mababa. In fact, we were also asking during the prior to the deliberation on Bayanihan I think Bayanihan 2, ano daw ang suggestion ng industry. One of the suggestion for the industry is to at least provide for a moratorium on the payment of loans. Kasi marami kaming members, especially sa Roro, na nag-invest on new ships. Yung investment nila dates back prior to COVID-19. Nung pumunta kong COVID-19, patapos na yung vessel. So, puro yung loans. So, walang ang income down, and yet they cannot service their loans. So, ang hinihingi namin doon, at least moratorium. Wala sa Bayanihan 2. So, yung mga ganun ba? But again, I commend Marina na very responsive sa needs ng industry. In fact, plug-in na to. There were already 2 instances where Administrator Integrad called for a forum with the stakeholders in the shipping industry. Anything goes. Kung ano daw reklamo, malaman niya directly. So, it is only the present administrator that made such a move, na direct engagement with the stakeholders. Other government agencies regulating shipping, I will not mention yung mga agencies. Hindi na nagko-conduct niyan, wala nang ganyan, mag-i-issue pa ng circulars, ng regulations without really consulting the stakeholders.
So with this situation, are you still optimistic that we can still overcome these challenges? How do you see the future of our domestic shipping?
Well, yung MIDP, the MIDP was started. It's a 10-year development program pursuant to the charter of Marina. Na Marina should come up with a 10-year development program of the maritime industry, and it was started by the predecessor of Administrator Impedrad, and it was finished during the present administrator. And fortunately, there is a provision there on ship acquisition, shipbuilding, by creating a shipbuilding hub na designed to import all the requirements for a new ship, and then shipbuilders would just get something from there. Parang ang concept ata walang mga duties and taxes, etc., etc. So that's good. Kaya lang ang nakikita kong problema doon, baka most of the program there needs legislation. Pag legislation kasi patay na. Balik na naman sa, in fact, problema sa legislation, sa budget na lang eh. Parang lumuluhod ang mga government offices sa Kongreso during budget deliberation. Kaya mahirap. But going back to your question, am I also optimistic? Well, we have no choice but to be optimistic, Lynn. Kasi pag hindi na kuwan ng shipping, I don't know what will happen to our country. Kasi 95 to 99% of goods in the Philippines are being transported by ship. Okay? Passengers, I don't have the figures. But again, i-visualize mo na lang. 7,160, 400,000, 7,400 islands. How will you connect it with bridges? You connect it through ships. And yet, despite the fact na nagpo-provide ng connectivity ang shipping, I think parang ang mga policy makers natin hindi binibigyan ng tamang atensyon ng shipping. Okay. Ayan, feeling ko lang yung personal feeling ko yan. But again, we have no choice but to remain optimistic. Sana nga makakuha. Okay.
There's another challenge, attorney. The International Maritime Organization, or IMO Maritime Safety Committee, or MSC 104, is in the process of finalizing model regulations on domestic ferry safety that will provide framework provisions which can be adopted by interested countries for direct incorporation into national law. How do you react to this?
Well, as in the various conventions ratified by the Philippines, I'm referring to the STCW, MARPOL 7378, the Civil Liabilities Convention. They're all being implemented here. Kahit nga yung MARPOL na wala pang enabling law, ini-implement na yan dito ng Philippine Coast Guard. Now, remember, wala pang enabling law yan. But it is being implemented by the Philippine Coast Guard and by Marina. And the domestic shipping abides with it. Ano mga regulation na sabi nga namin, we will comply. Okay? Especially if it pertains to safety. The only caveat that we want to relate to the government is if the strict implementation of a particular convention or a particular international regulation would be impossible to apply in the Philippines due to the peculiar nature of the Philippines, peculiar operations of shipping in the Philippines, dapat there should be an equivalent of equivalent or substantial compliance or substantial equivalent. Tawag namin dyan substantial equivalent. Now, let me give you an example. Under the Maritime Labor Convention, a certain dimension is provided in the convention with respect to accommodation. So ships should have an accommodation complying with the measurement prescribed under the Maritime Labor Convention, which is good kasi naman parang the vessel is the ship is the working area of the workers, which are the seafarers. Kaya lang, if you apply the dimensions prescribed under the Maritime Labor Convention on barges flying the Pasig River, hindi makukumply yun. Because yung Pasig River, yung mga barges dyan, talagang pinabababa para makalusot dun sa mga bridges na nakakuan dyan. So my position is, okay, the industry will comply with such regulations, especially if it pertains to safety. But mariners will be given some flexibility to prescribe substantial equivalent if such regulation by the peculiar circumstances of domestic shipping will require such substantial equivalent. Okay.
Indeed, very interesting topic, Attorney. Let's wrap up your what you would like to stress pa.
Well, I commend everyone who has concerns on the industry. I know kayo yung maritime journalists like you, if we cannot convince our policymakers, if we're not able to directly engage the policymakers, at least through you, gaya ngayon, I can express all my arguments, all my frustrations. So you're part and parcel of the industry. Kailangan namin kayo para let's move towards instituting reforms in the industry. Kaya maraming salamat sa pag-invite sa amin. At subscriber mo na ako.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your time and thoughts, Attorney Peter Aguilar, Executive Director and Legal Counsel of the Philippine Inter-Island Shipping Association, or PISA. Thank you very much for watching Maritime Viewpoints. Stay tuned on Marine World Online for more maritime news and views. God bless Maritime Philippines. I am Lynn Bacani.